When I'm wrong, I'm zombie enough to admit that I'm wrong, son. I should have listened. All of the clickbait, all of the warnings, the writing was on the wall. I mean, come on. We were having a national alert, a FEMA test, hitting all the connected devices that was going to start the zombie apocalypse. How could I not have known? At first, when I woke up, I thought it was regular fatigue. You know, the husband life, the dad life. Your wife's on Pinterest finding you stuff to do all of the time. Hey, honey, come here. You know it's a honey-do list coming your way. The kids, hey, dad, I need this. Hey, dad, come here. The dog's looking at you like, hey, tall, bearded human, walk me, son. I know you see me staring at you. I should have known. But then the cravings started. Not brains. Zombies don't have brains. This crap. The cravings have started. And let me tell you something. Zombie life is painful, but I deserve every bit of it. I should have listened. If only I would have listened to red alert after red alert after red alert that was hitting the prepping community, telling me the zombie virus was coming on the back end of this national test. Now look at me. My dad bod is now a dead bod. Welcome to Prepper Nation. I am John. Thank you for watching if you're still here. Thank you for shooting a thumbs up or thumbs down. And also thank you for subscribing to the channel. Truly appreciate it. Megan Donahue and Donna Southwood. Thank both of you ladies for the coffee this morning and also the rundown coffee this afternoon. So now I'm going to run a poll over there this afternoon on the rundown. Just a couple of quick notes. Number one, I did not finish the Starbucks. It's terrible. It tastes like really, really bad coffee creamer. You can't even taste the coffee in that stuff, son. I don't know. And I'm out $3 plus on it. Let me just add because the stuff's not cheap. But I thought it would be funny for that intro. And number two, the Walmart Halloween makeup, they lie. Easy to remove. No, son. I was in there scrubbing like I was panning for gold after that segment to get that stuff off of my face. But listen, let me tell you where some of these creators messed up, okay? You know, the ones that told you the zombie virus was coming, blah, blah, blah. We're still here, by the way. Maybe revisit that list that I encouraged you to make. Here's where they messed up. They tried to predict really scary things, and they did it with an exact date. You can't do that. It never works out. Once you throw that exact date down there, you're on the hook for it. It's very hard to predict that way. But I'll say this, it is important to try and predict things in the prepping community. In fact, we try and do it here sometimes. We're going to do it today because it is very important. It's an important part of the prepping, in my opinion. But we're going to have fun with it, okay? We try to do that here at Prepper Nation in case you're new and you haven't figured that out yet. We talk about the important things, but we try to do so in a fun and sometimes, I don't know, maybe an entertaining way. I don't know. I'm on the inside looking out, so I couldn't really tell you, but this is an awesome community. Let me just say that. Thank you to the moderators, of course. They do an incredible job. Best set of moderators on YouTube, but the community itself, we get it. Most of us get it. We sit down every morning, we have coffee, and we just have ourselves a little chat, right? And we talk about important things without all of these scare tactics. I've been accused of fear porn myself the past few days. There's a difference between clickbait and fear porn. I really don't have time to get into it, but clickbait is, hey, Check this video out. That should be the ambition of everybody on YouTube. Fear porn is scaring people for profit, and I try not to do that here. Sometimes it feels like it's us versus everybody, but that's okay. I tend to thrive on that. So, anyway, let's get right down to it. I've got two questions this morning, and I'm going to give you my answers on both questions. And again, trying to predict things is important to prepping, in my opinion. Okay, and leave comments. Absolutely, don't put any specifics. All right, don't throw down any specific information, any kind of specifics that you were stacking, because other people may use that. We got werewolves out there, I'm told. All right, among other things. So, question number one, they're both wildly important. Number one, where will the United States and the rest of the world be in 10 years? Not December the 21st, 2033. I'm not putting a specific date on it. That's a mess up. Creators, that's a mess up, son. You can't do that. 10 years from now, where are we going to be? Both the United States or America, because we're not really united anymore, I would argue, and the rest of the world. So I'm going to go down a bullet point list that I've made, if I can read it, because my handwriting is, it's atrocious. And I'm going to explain each one. And again, put your predictions in chat if you so choose for the rundown. I think our country will still be here. I know that that's a controversial statement. So many people think America will be done in 10 years. And I understand the reasoning, but I think that we're going to be here. What I mean by this is we will still have a flag. The country will still have a name, whether it's the United States of America or something else, I don't know. There will be a semblance of America. There's going to be some recognizable features, but it is going to look wildly different 10 years from now, right? And I'm not saying it's going to be the greatest place on earth to live. I just think that it's going to be here. There will be some sort of federal government. There will be some sort of military that is standing, maybe an economy, who knows? Also, I think we will have seen a world war by that time. 10 years from now, I think we're going to look back and we will be able to study World War III. I do. I think that Ukraine, if not Taiwan, these are the flashpoints. The border with Ukraine and Poland, but also Taiwan, could definitely be a flashpoint for World War III. I think AI will replace 1/3, if not more, of current jobs. That's a scary number. Again, speculatory on my part. It's a prediction. I don't know this for sure. Let me know if that number's too high or too low, but I think 1/3 of the current jobs are jobs that AI can replace. And financially, it just makes sense for companies to come in and replace them. Sorry, if you work in Hollywood, you're probably going to be out of a job in 10 years. With the implementation of AI, they don't need you around anymore. They just don't. They don't need their extras walking in the background. They can do all of this stuff now. If you work over the phone, sorry, you're probably not going to have a job in 10 years. If you work for a newspaper 10 years from now, online or otherwise, all of this stuff is going to be replaced. A lot of factory jobs as well. Some are safe, of course. Some of them you have to have hands on. But the combination of robotics, advanced robotics, and AI, they're going to replace a lot of things. And I also think AI is going to be used heavily within 10 years in both big tech, which we're beginning to see now, and law enforcement. I think 10 years from now, when you call 911, you're going to be talking to an AI dispatcher, not a human. This is personal opinion on my part, stuff like this. I think within 10 years, gasoline engines will be completely outlawed if the weave has its way. Um, I think real food, not plant-based food, but actual real food It will still be in grocery stores, but it will be a lot more expensive than it is right now, and it will kind of have its own specialty section. You know how you go into a grocery store and they've got a small area set up just for seafood or set up just for Asian food? I think that we are heading into fast approaching a time where you're gonna walk into a grocery store and the real food is just gonna be a very small portion of what they actually have, and everything else is gonna be plant-based and lab grown. Not a place I wanna live in. I'm not cheerleading for it, but I'm just saying the writing is on the wall there, I think. We're absolutely 100% going to be under an all digital currency within 10 years. Now, will this be like the Fed coin and be specific just to the United States? Will this be a coalition of countries coming under kind of like the euro, coming under a digital type coin? I don't know. But within 10 years, paper money is out the window. I mean, it's on its way out now. And I think that they're going to, um, large banks, because they have a lot of stroke with lawmaking. I think they are going to find a way to regulate cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is not the way around this stuff. It kind of looked like it there for a while, but I do think they're going to step in and regulate it because it's dangerous, right? Uh, I think we're going to see this dynamic. It's starting to happen now, but we're going to see this dynamic, this war, if you will, between ESG scores and these mega corporations like Amazon and Walmart, et cetera, Target, Starbucks, which again is horrible coffee. They ought to be sued because that stuff's not even coffee, but I digress. Between ESG and the companies that have signed on for ESG, and they're hundreds, major companies, and small town America, small businesses, mom and pop shops. I think we're going to see a clash between these two because the World Economic Forum has many tentacles, huge reach, but they don't have enough to reach around every single small business. So I think we're going to see that clash coming. 15-minute cities, and I think also we're going to start to see the term or the phrase 15-minute communities, because I think right now the focus is on cities, but eventually they're going to branch out and they're going to try and create 15-minute communities where you're in rural America, but you're basically still not allowed to leave. If we allow it, okay, the people could stand up and fight against this, but I don't know that enough will. And it will be considered normal. That's the issue. Most Americans won't have an issue with it. You know, they'll look at it as a good thing, not a prison. But I would disagree with that. Taxes will push most Americans away from land ownership and gun ownership. I don't know that they're ever going to get rid of the Second Amendment. They keep chipping away, but I think that they are going to use money, financial, ESG scores even, to prohibit people from buying the firearms that they want to, and keeping the firearms that they have because they're going to tax them into oblivion, and also land ownership. They don't want you owning land. They don't want you owning guns. This is straight up facts. Okay. And they're going to use money as a weapon. Once it goes digital, they have all of the power. All right. And finally, I think preppers will be mocked far worse 10 years from now than they already are. I don't understand it. This is a gut feeling, though. I don't understand why preppers get mocked in 2023 with everything that we've experienced. You know, we seem like the smartest people in the room sometimes, many times. But I think 10 years from now, that's 10 more years that they have to indoctrinate people. 10 more years they're turning people out of 4-year universities. Um, Preparedness is just not going to be looked at in a very flattering way, even against right now. So expect it. I mean, if you're going to continue to prep for the next 10 years, expect people to laugh about it and stuff like this, and people not to understand. Which brings me to question number 2. And again, please don't throw anything too specific into the chat, okay? Just vague stuff like I'm gonna get better with comms, this sort of thing. Okay, keep the cards close to the vest and protect what you do. Okay, information is key. You don't want to give it away. Question number two: where do you want to be as a prepper in the next 10 years? If you could wake up tomorrow morning and it's 10 years later, where would you want to be as a prepper? What do you actually want to accomplish, both as a person and a prepper, I guess would be a better question. So number one, my family and I have what we need and we're safe. That is and that always will be a number one. All right. No matter what I think is coming next or what I think is coming within 10 years, my family and I have to have what we need in order to survive and manage, and we have to be safe. This is my job. Figure out a workaround when it comes to ESG. And I think I've already done that, but I don't want to spoil it too much. The exclusive stream last week probably already knows. I don't want to spoil it too much because I'm not the man to deliver that information, I think. But there are workarounds, especially if I'm right about, small town USA, main streets versus mega corporations. I'm specifically prepping for and expecting within the next 10 years a huge financial collapse. All right. I said yesterday, I think that we are already in a Great Depression, silent depression because it's not being admitted to, but major financial collapse, something that they just absolutely cannot hide. Social chaos that will be caused by mass illegal immigration. We're already seeing some of that in our cities and on our border towns, but at the rate these people are coming in, okay. And I heard another creator this week, and I agree with him. He said, most of these people that are coming in are good people. They're trying to escape a bad situation. And so I agree with that. I think they're trying to get out of third world countries and get into the United States. They're still criminals. In my eyes, they're still criminals. They're breaking the law. They're knowingly doing it. But the bigger issue is they're bringing third world values with them. You can escape a bad situation, but if you bring everybody with you, all you're doing is moving the bad situation up north to the United States. So I'm preparing for that. Hopefully that makes sense. And the potential of a national divorce. If we're going to see a national divorce, you will start to hear rumors of this either during the election cycle or just prior. Not prior, I'm sorry, just after the election cycle is complete. Growing and canning more food. I would love to do that. I'm never going to be a full-blown homesteader. Again, I'm not Farmer John over here, but I would like to get to the point where we're at least doubling what we're doing right now in terms of growing things, in terms of canning things, and even vacuum sealing and freezing and stuff like that. I'm gonna be stacking more survival food. It's not at the top of the list, though. I'm gonna stack it as I can afford to. If I walk in on a stupid deal, if I go into a Rule King's all over the place with this stuff, especially with ReadyWise. You'll go in sometimes it's $140 for a 30-day supply. But I've also walked in and it's been $70 clearance and out. So if I walk into it and it's $70, on clearance or something, um, you better believe I'm going to be stacking more of it with the shelf life that it provides. Make sure my kids understand why prepping is important because 10 years from now, they're going to be grown-ups. They're going to be on their own. And I want to instill into them, you need to have situational awareness. You need to have more than a day's worth of groceries in your home, not 2 bags of potato chips and some root beer. You know what I'm saying? You need to have an actual plan should it hit the fan, at least until we can get to you, or vice versa. I want to have all of my debt paid off, which is not going to be easy to do with student loans, but I feel like I'd be in a much better place if I'm able to pay all of this off. Again, if we have a standing country, which I understand the counter argument for that, it's a really bad place. And finally, and I've already done this, I think I've got to sell Miss Nation on it. She's mostly sold. Locate a good retirement spot. So I love where we live. Mount Airy's awesome. Surrey County's pretty awesome. It's not where I want to retire. Okay. There are a couple of streets here that still look like Mayberry from the Andy Griffith Show, but by and large, the rest of the town slash city looks like anywhere USA. Any small town USA. And I found a much better place. It is on the border of West Virginia and Virginia, and this place is kind of out of sight, out of mind. Very, very conservative, from the mayor to the sheriff on down. I mean, these people just don't play. And so I want to retire there. But again, I'm married, so I got to sell it to my wife. So yeah. I'm looking at the next 10 years the same way I try and look at it all the time. Okay. You can't live in fear. You can't prep out of fear. You can't live in fear. You cannot be in a constant state of panic. It will affect you mentally, physically, and it's just not viable long term. You burn out. You want to talk about prepper burnout? If you're living in a constant state of fear years on end, you're going to burn out. So I try and approach it without the fear, but I also understand things are going to happen within the next decade. Big things are likely to happen. And I just want to be prepared for that stuff. I want to maintain a solid plan and be able to change the plan if need be a little bit, depending on the situation, right? The current threat. So a national divorce does look a little bit different than a financial collapse, for example. And finally, God willing that I'm still here, I'm still going to be YouTubing. I still probably won't have the tech down pat. I may be coming from my phone, especially if we're moving to the retirement spot, because I don't even know what the internet's like there. But who knows? But yeah, sorry if you're a hater and you're out there watching. I intend to do this at least for the next 10 years. Again, God willing, who knows? I don't know what my plan is according to the creator, but if I have a say so, yeah, I'm going to be here for the next 10 years or so. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Can't wait to see them and cover them on today's rundown. Y'all take care and God bless.